Hey everybody, it's Jay Ball, Blue Outdoors. It is still late winter, not early spring yet, but we are actually going to be hanging some lines today. I'm going to be redoing the lines that connect these two trees together, and I'll show you what's very common to do as far as hanging your lines go and put them in your bucket, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do because there's one thing that I hate doing, and that's cleaning buckets. So let me show you how to use this tubing and the taps that I've showed you before in past videos on how to make your life easier and do less cleaning. Check this out. Okay, so I call these two sugar maples my oak maples. Why is that? Because that's a giant oak tree in the front of my yard. I'm very fortunate because I've got these two trees right here. Now these trees are probably big enough to put two taps in, so I'm going to put two taps in each of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect them with that blue tubing that I showed you guys. Normally you could put two buckets, so you'd have one bucket on a double tap over there and one bucket on a double tap here, but I don't like cleaning buckets. I really despise cleaning buckets. It's part of the process. I get it, you got to do it. But let me show you what the typical way is to just run a standard two taps with one T into a bucket, and then let me show you, actually I'm going to build for you guys this new tubing that's going to connect these two trees with four taps into one bucket. So check this out. Alright, so what's very common is to have this two tap system right here. So what you would do is you would drill two holes in the tree, put these two taps, and then you would have this spout actually going into this bucket into this hole right here. So let me show you what this would look like. So you have the bucket sitting here, let's say, and then you drill the two holes, you put these two taps in, and then the sap runs through here. Now this is very common. This is probably the most common way to do this. Here's a tip and trick for you. A lot of people put the hole in the top of the bucket. I put the hole in the side of the bucket because that keeps all the rain and stuff from falling in here. Bugs can get in there really easy. So I actually put all my holes on the side of my buckets. It's just something I've learned the hard way. And I also try to make that hole as tight as possible, which I'll show you guys a video on how I do that. So let me show you guys what this is going to look like when I have all four of these taps put together into one bucket. So as you can see, I already put an end hook on this line. So I've got the tubing wrapped around this tree, and then the tubing is going to run down from here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off and put another hook, and I'm going to build my drop that goes in, add my T, and do all that stuff. And I apologize, it's windy out. I've got my mic, but my mic keeps messing up. I gotta figure that out. So I'm gonna time lapse this, and hopefully I can show you guys some of the process, but I just don't want the audio to be terrible. So let me time lapse this and build this thing for you, then we'll talk about it. Well, it's all about learning. So now you can see I've got this tap here, I've got another tap back here hooked into this T, and you can see that it's got a nice general downslope to it, which is important. So I'm just going to finish hooking this one up, and then I have to put a drop line in here. But yeah, it's kind of trial and error. I mean, there's no book on what's the best way to string tubing, but in general you want a nice downward slope to it, and I'm going to put a drop dead T in here so the sap can flow down into this bucket. So yeah, that's about as hard as it is, so you just gotta have patience with it. As with everything in life, that was definitely a learning experience. So let me show you exactly what's going on. So I've got this dead stop, so there's no sap that can go past this point right here. So this T leads into this T, and this T goes to my two taps, and these are what's called these safety health cups, so I can put the taps in. So you can see I've got both taps in there. So I'm not going to tap the trees yet. We're still about a week and a half away. I've got that pouring down into the bucket here, and then you can see I've got pretty much the same thing over here. I've got one of these teacups, these health teacups. Now again, you want a general downward slope to your tubing, and if I need to tighten this up, I can just unhook this and pull it up a little bit higher, because this stuff will loosen up as the season progresses because everything's heating up. So that's just a quick, really basic tutorial on how I hang tubing, and depending on how many taps you run, per line. It can be a little bit more complex, typically running what is this, 5/16 tubing. You don't want to have more than, I think, 20 taps on this 5/16 tubing because it just can't handle that volume of sap. So I think the most maybe I have is 16 or 18, but you start to push that 20-25 tap limit, yeah, you start to run into volume issues. Alrighty, so this set of trees, or this run of taps, I'm not going to completely redo, but the anchor point for this line is actually right over here. So what I'm going to redo is that anchor point. I've got these 3 sugar maples right here I've got to attach to. So again, I'm just going to time lapse. The camera's running out of battery because it's super cold out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo the anchor point here, and then I'll turn the camera because I'm going to run the line up this way as well. So yeah, I'll try to, again, do the best job I can just showing you guys this stuff. And it might not be that entertaining, but I just want you guys to have an idea kind of how I run the lines, and I'll time lapse this part of it, and then I'll walk you through this run, and then I think we'll just wrap this video up here just because I want to give you guys an idea of what I do. So hang on. So after some deliberation, I've made the executive decision. I'm just going to restring this entire run. I'm kind of fighting myself because there's things I want to do to it, and I've already made some changes over the last 2 years. So I've had this line now for maybe 2 or 3 years, and I got to start from scratch. So again, camera battery's dying, so I'm just gonna redo this one, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all done, because it's just I'm fighting myself and I just can't do it. So let's see what happens. All right, it's super windy again, but hopefully you guys can see that I've got the line restrung. So this is much more neat, a lot less connections. You can see I've got my T's in the line where the spouts are gonna go, or where the taps are gonna go. So yeah, much more clean and concise. You can see there's a nice general taper down slope all the way to the end, which is going to be right there. So all in all, pretty happy. Glad I made that executive decision to redo this line, because it's been kind of put together piece by piece over the past 2 years, but I like this much better. Okay, so it's really windy, guys. I'm sorry, my battery's dying. It's probably like 15 degrees out. It's super cold, so I do apologize if the camera work was not the best today, but I am still learning. So hopefully you guys got a little bit of an insight as to how I hang my lines. And again, it's all about trying to keep things everything consistent, clean, efficient. That's the big part of this. So hopefully you guys learned something today, and as it warms up, you know, I'll probably break this down for you a little bit more if we need to. But like I said, it's just super cold. So I'm going to finish up a few things, head back inside. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell so you know anytime I post a new video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. That's blue_J_maple_syrup. Thank you so much for watching this video. And again, the easiest way to change your attitude is by showing gratitude. Thanks. We'll catch you next time.